I alone. No guesses today. Guesses couldn't make it, but you know we could take it. Ba-da-bap, ba-da-bap. Just in time to gain a little election talk, right? Couldn't be better timing.
It was party time once again across the land. And we of class, people they got out a hand. With DJ
Stuart and Kamla in front the band.
all because of
Party time, party time.
them promoters, all of them had silver tongue. They made you feel their fed was the best around. With promises of utopia and song, all because of
Party time, party time.
you should have heard them jump
And fight on low and shake your manifesto, Ramache. Kamla we Ramache.
The 5 years nearly done. It's
Time to have some fun, so.
was a carnival. If you see Ramgoat, join the bacchanal. Just to get your vote.
It's PNM UNC taking we for Chopedy as party time. Let me see if the applause working. It not. Welcome to episode 220 of the Courage About Podcast. Long time I see you all, you know. Long time I see you all in the flesh and in person and these things, you know what I mean? Good to see you all again. As I say, I'd guesses line up for today. But when you deal with the fellas that affordable imports and you have a little thing in you could adjust on the fly. Quick. So it give me a good little opportunity to come here and talk about what is really happening in the country. And the main thing is that I don't know if the timing could be any better, because the first headline I see when I say, well, all right, the guessing come what I go talk about election date on April 28th. You cannot go wrong, you know. So all the rumors and things people were saying before, and all the political proponents and all the experts and all the bloggers, you know, now is the time, right? I want you to sort of observe something. The people who you feel, and I learned this the hard way, right? That's why I can tell you this, and I know you probably see it yourself too. The people who you've been feeling was independent journalists and independent bloggers and independent podcasters and YouTubers and streamers and things, right? Who talk in the politics. Listen to them now and you go find out how independent people be. You go find out, you know, it's people who done pick their side. PNM went through the little battle when we was here the last time we talked about that. PNM went through the little hustling and the bustling. We go talk about the cabinet reshuffle and thing. UNC going through the hustle and bustle. I think it's 41 candidates in it. Well, if you decide to contest every seat. At the time of recording this, I think UNC just barely have double-digit candidates in place, but they go no. And the thing about it is everybody was saying election go come early and right after Carnival and the Ash Wednesday election and all. I honestly believe that a part of the reason the election taken quite till the end of April is because them fellas had a little infighting. Because Penny wanted to be in charge and Foster said this, and then they said, no, they kept on Foster, but they want Paris, Or if that wasn't going on, Rolly would have stepped down weeks before Carnival so he could go and enjoy his fete and them proper. And we might be having a different kind of conversation now. We might be talking now about who win and not about when the election date is. But let me read from The Guardian here. It says the Office of the Prime Minister has confirmed that 2025 election will be held on April 28th. The announcement was made via media release. The full release came below, right? So we in complete silly season. And before I get into some of the news and some of my takes on what happened here, I want to say that Facebook in particular, right? Now when you're in your 40s, people who listening to this and they're young, right? I don't know if TikTok and Instagram had these same issues like Facebook. But what I can tell you is my snooze button on Facebook is going to get work. Because from the time the election date, it has some people who like a election talk when nothing happening at all. I like a politics talk and like a politics talk with a little sprinkle of race talks with seasoning. They like it all year round, right? Them is 365 days a year with that. But you see the intensifying, what it is? The way it's get intense wrong kind of Christmas, what do you call it thing, boy? Election time. I can't to take it. So I'm going to be using my snooze button. And gratefully, I recording this. By the time you hearing this, right, we are the 20th or 21st or March or somewhere like that. so my 30-day snooze button that Facebook so graciously offered me should take these people all the way down to the 28th of April. Because the ketchup and mustard people, they're back. The ketchup and mustard. People red till they're dead and they're laying, and people yellow till they fellow and they're laying, So the things start about who think. Imagine they're saying, when I am the most average of average men, you don't get more average than me, right? Where I has average height, average weight, average knowledge. I just in the middle, right? I'm middle of the pack. And I was talking about this election being called early. So for the opposition to come and say that, well, we didn't know, and they tried to get you the pants down, and it's electric is what election engineering. And I will say on record, and I've said this many, many times before. This is about my third or fourth election we hear in this podcast discussing, right? We need to have fixed election dates. The stupidity of somebody having an election date in their back pocket when them could step down and step aside and then get a friend to thing, and then me and my other friends could battle for which one of my friends I want to put to run the party and which one of my friends. And we had to sit down here and wait. I'm not talking about the opposition or I'm talking about the citizenry or the business world. I had to just sit down and wait till you ready and you find it fit and you screen all your candidates, and I had to sit down and wait until Terrence had to take a whole wine for me to find out was an election day. That is garbage. It is archaic. That is real backward thinking. Why we can't decide now that the election is the first Monday in every September after the 5th year that a party involved? Unless you have a snap election for some reason, like the Dr. Eric Williams would have passed away, or you have to hand over to somebody like Chambers, or the next prime minister gone he way. Who knows if Stuart go retire in about a year and a half, if he win, or Kamala had to retire at some point, right? We could talk about that. But if it is, we have a fixed date, everybody could work the thing to suit. Businesses could operate in a way that caters for the election. And because I can tell you this, right from the business world, you cannot or ought not to. It would be imprudent if you get into big business decisions around the time that an election going to happen. Because should the government change, you have some changes to policy, changes to boards, change of direction, hopefully, because the UNC had to be trying to carry we down a different road than we are now, right? Clearly, nobody happy with the road we on. So if you're saying that you want to take power and you want to take the reins, you got to be changing direction. That change of direction is any business student, business 101, they go tell you about macro environmental conditions, right? The macro environment, the issue with the macro environment is that no one person, business, or political party could control the macro environment. Most of the time as businesses, you want to plan and you want to get your thing done. Or as entities as a whole, right? Same with political parties or even as people. You want to plan for as much or anticipate as much as you could, but the macro environmental conditions you can't control. You cannot manipulate. One person can't change it. So in business, that have a little tool we use called a pestle, right? It's a class mode. Long time I didn't talk to Oli, but pestle, PESTLE or EL or whatever, stand for the political climate, the economic climate, social climate, technological, legal, and environmental climate. And those things are basically not governed or imagine, let me use the environment as an example. An earthquake shake or the hurricane pass, no one person, people cannot control those things. The most you could do is react it, right? And the first thing in that pestle is the political climate. The political climate affects the business climate. We need to know what direction you're going in. The oil and gas done, the wells dry, Petrotrin shut down, we had dragon gas coming, but a fellow named Trump looking like he ain't want to, we ain't to war, we are no dragon gas. So those are political factors that nobody can control. So as a business, it's a time of uncertainty. When place uncertain, people tend to hold back on big plans. They wait. Let me see who win. Because even Stuart Young, if he come, congratulations to Stuart Young. We can talk about him, the new Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago. Kobo Sweat. You still talk about that? Still like Kobo Sweat and them think they know for him. He might make the shortest Prime Minister in history of Trinidad and Tobago, shortest, both by height and by tenure. You know what I mean? So the thing about it is, with the political, it lends the environment when you have a variable election date that is decided on by the people who are in power. It lends to all kind of areas of dis-ease and discomfort. So while I find the opposition they're disingenuous in the talk that we get caught off guard, they don't get caught off guard. They had to say that, that's part of the politicking. But the truth is that they're right in that they ought to know, everybody ought to know and be able to plan around when is an election date. But Rowlers, true to form, true to his word, and I did say here many weeks ago that it would be very admirable for me if he actually make that move and step down. And I want to repeat that sentiment. I find that regardless, I come here and say all kind of thing about Rowlers, right? You could say a lot about him, you could say a lot of bad about him and the way he run the country and the state of the crime and sometimes the absence of leadership or at least the vision. I always felt as though he never communicated to us a clear vision, something to hope for, something to aspire to and work towards as a nation. And I don't know if he was the most uniting figure they ever had, you know what I mean? But something about the move I admire. I hear people saying he's sick and thing. I hope to God the man is sick, right? Let me deal man to man now. Forget politics for a minute. I hope he gets to enjoy a nice, ripe, long retirement. I wish for every prime minister of this country to have what Basdio Panday had, which is or prime minister or any official, you know, or any person where you could work all your life and you communicate wherever you did for your community or whatever service you provide and whatever you did. You find yourself in a position where one day you could put up your foot and if it's golf you like to play, like they say Panday was a man like little cat and thing, you know what I mean? Quite sounded like a Romy and like that's what men supposed to do when they reach the age they was of service to the country, good or bad or indifferent, whatever you have to say about them. It's nice to see when them fellas retire. Get a rolly little grey if you ever grow here. I don't know if you're grey or not, but they're getting get a little grey and enjoy yourself. The Sharon enjoy it. Go and enjoy your grandchildren and them kind of thing. I always remember what it was like when Patrick Manning would have left and get sick soon after. And Ken Valley was another example of that. You know, you dedicate your whole life to service. Marlene McDonald that passed away, I believe, while still in his seat, or at least, no, not in his seat, but still in and around the politics, or a popular name in the politics at the time. I like to see people get old and retire, and there's something admirable about him saying that he's going to step down and actually stepping down. I am eager to see what happens on the political campaign trail because I want to see if Rowley go hang around to help Stuart because Stuart need help, right? you can imagine Stuart meeting with Trump. Only see Trump meet a man from Ukraine when he named Zelensky. And Trump try to gangster the man in the meeting and man telling him, so you don't own a shirt and tie, you don't own a suit or not. I mean, I feel like if Stuart go cry, Stuart look like a man easy, you know what I mean? He's tear up easy. But let me read from Ria Tate in the Express here. Because talking about tear up easy and all them kind of thing, and if Trump go bully who? I imagine I studying if Trump go bully this man and come and see this article here. The appointment of Stuart Young as Prime Minister has led to the dredging up of an incident which took place 33 years ago in 1992 when he was a 17-year-old student at St. Mary's College, Port of Spain. I just wanted to be on record that the issue with this started at St. Mary's College, Port of Spain. That is where this story became an issue because Fatima would never. I went tranquil would never. I don't know how St. Mary's had thing coming out 33 years after a man done leave the school, but who getting bullied and thing. When he was in Fatima, you get bullied without an eye, right? Even though the young was the victim of an attack by fellow student Imran Khan. I wonder if there's Imran from Fatima who went. Anyway, even though Young was the victim of an attack by fellow student Imran Khan, the accusation has been made that Young was bullying Khan, which led to Khan attacking him. Jesus Christ. Khan's sister Nadia revived. Nadia, yourself, you don't have to do any day come out. Khan's sister Nadia revived the incident on Facebook on Monday. She started, my brother Imran was abused and bullied while at St. Mary's College. He was to sit his O-levels and was expelled as he used force with a baton to defend himself from said bully. He never had the opportunity to sit his exam. Nadia never, ever? He didn't do it up to now? This man get expelled from St. Mary's and never went back and do O-level. Anyway, he never had the opportunity to sit his exams. The bully/bullies were never penalized for their actions. They sat their exams without any remorse. That bully was Stuart Young. Today, he now gets the opportunity to bully a nation. Nadia, I wonder where Nadia working. Nadia have not one thing to do any day come. The Mirror had published a story. Who? Only remember the Mirror, the bomb, the blast, the punch. I find any time in life, right? Let me use this as a ruler term. Anytime you plan to talk serious thing, and you're doing referencing for what you're going to talk about, and the Mirror is your reference, Peg back, right? Peg back. If the Mirror is your reference, better is it. The Mirror had published a story in the context of a racial episode stating the expulsion of an Indian student from prestigious St. Mary's College in Port of Spain has sent shockwaves through the school and has promoted charges of racism to be leveled against the authorities. The Mirror stories, which went viral on social media yesterday. If the Mirror going viral, what the hell are you doing wrong? Imagine the Mirror when they stop that. The Mirror stories, which went viral on social media yesterday, along with Nadia Khan's Facebook post, said Khan reacted to taunts from a known Form 6 bully by allegedly planting some baton blows on the older boy. Right, I'm starting to like this fella now. I'm starting to like him a lot. Because if you get bullied in school, right? I'm going to go back to Fatima days. Because if they had battle, then I might take a few of them. So sources close to Young yesterday categorically denied that he had bullied anyone. They explained that he used to take driving lessons during school and lunch hour. And one day, coming back to school from the lessons, he felt the blow to the head. The boy started raining blows on Young and almost killed him. Wow. Thank God he survived. The source denied that Young ever had any interaction with the boy before the unprovoked attack. The source said Young decided not to run when he felt the first blow because he was fearful that if he ran, Khan would turn on his brother Angus. Angus? Who's this Angus, Young? Angus, what you do? You just watch your brother take battle to head? What the hell is going on? St. Mary's principal then, Dr. Anthony Deverdale, had said in a Mirror report that the expulsion of the student had nothing to do with racism. He said Khan was not expelled. He has been sent home pending a report from a psychologist. If you beat somebody with a bat or a psychologist report sound like the next logical step. But if you get bullied and you have a battle, a battle is not like when the thing is passed when they're doing relay. I read a story about a girl in the States the other day. She running relay. And when it's battle handoff time, a girl pass her. And she hit the girl a battle to head to. They say she get charged with assault, a matter of fact. In a telephone interview, I can't believe we're talking about a telephone interview from 1820 something or whenever the hell Stuart Young and them went to school. In a telephone interview, he said he was being asked to comment on something that took place 33 years ago and would prefer not to comment as he wasn't certain that he could be fair and faithful to the issue given the length of time that could pass. What Young wants to say is he gets so much batter to head. With the pip, pip, pip. He can't remember what the hell. Who asked this man is called? He realizes batter the man get. This man, to the best of his recollection that he can recall from his memory, he cannot remember any famous words of Matt Hoffer, right? So I don't know what this issue is about. You're getting bullied in school. I guess the word bullied is the issue. You know, sometimes when enough time passes, some things looked at very differently through the lenses of today. Like when I was going to school, it had bullies, and I guess we will always have that in school, right? But let me change it to people who taking advantage of the people who, in my time, they used to say somebody picking on you, you know what I mean? And the truth is, in our days in school, I think we were allowed much more to police ourselves. In other words, hit somebody some battle. We were allowed to police ourselves a little more than the youths today. I was talking to Father Gregory about Fatima, and, reminiscing on the old days of fights and so on, and fighting boys from Compre, and you had to run a Carpatchery cemetery by myself and all these different types of things. And he's saying, school is not like that again. It's completely different now than it was then. So a boy who bullying somebody else or teasing or picking on somebody else, there's a different reaction in the school to that with the teachers and so on than they would have had in my time. Although salute my son in Fatima is Form 1 Dean, a fellow named Mr. De Gale. He was talking about the fact that when he do the orientation for parents, and he was talking to the mothers, this is the mothers he really talking to. He trying to say, hey, your boys are going to have disagreements. Your boys are going to it could get physical. These boys, it will happen. Don't call, what he's trying to say is, don't call here and run in the school every minute for every little thing. You have to learn to do that. You have to learn to settle the differences, because what will happen if you go on a beach, right? Somehow on my way here this morning, they had a railroad block. I keep forgetting that we're in a SOE still. But if you go on the beach at the end, somebody, you rent your chairs for $1,000 a chair, wherever they have it rented for now, and you pay $5,000 for your bacon shack and so on, you're having a time. And some other family and a man just come and take up your chair and them. What are you going to do? How are you going to resolve that? A part of school life is understanding and learning about that. Because if you go and Las Cuevas tomorrow and you decide to hit a man some battle as your way of resolving the man take a chair on them, I feel you could end up in some problems, right? I don't think you'll be able to leave Las Cuevas if you hit the wrong man some butu up there. On the flip side of it, or to the next end of the spectrum, you can't just let the man take your chairs. Right? At some point in time, you had to be able to deal with conflict, address conflict, enforce boundaries, push boundaries. That is a part of manhood. We don't like to talk about manhood and things these days, right? But you see, as a man, let me put it in what we used to talk a long time. As a man, you go out somewhere, a man go this year. You have to be able to deal with that. The way to deal with that, you have the choice. You could hit man butu. These days now, everybody a gun, you could shoot him. A man tell you, he come and he take a share, you could empty the clip as part of the manifesto in some cases here. But I don't know if that's the best way to resolve an issue. You know what I mean? I'm not sure that that's the best way to resolve an issue. I'm not sure that you will also have a good life if you just walk away from every issue and you lay a chair there and you go on with your family now and you just get some more chair for somebody to take again. That also, but there's a middle ground where it lies. So let's assume, let me pull yourself back to 1582 when Stuart Young was in St. Mary's and maybe when it was a prestige school back then. And let's assume Stuart Young was bullying him physically and thing. Every time he passed, tap. I had to see this guy. Nadia, I need to see your brother. I wonder if Nadia have a picture of her brother because Stuart Young go care bully me. I ain't lying to tell you. Stuart Young, I mean, maybe, you know, a man, bullying could also be slick talk and thing. And maybe he's a big talker and them kind of thing. No, not really from what I see in Woodford Square, you know, big talker. But maybe he was a big talker back then and he gained man talk and thing. And that was the kind of bullying. Let me say that happened, right? When that happened, I would like to think that if your reaction to it is to beat the bully senseless with a baton, and I want to add in the words there, and get catch, right? And get catch, right? If you do it and you never get catch, this is not non-issue, you know. But if you do it and get catch, Nadia, what is my name? Imran? Imran, you didn't know you was going to get expelled when you beat the man senseless with a butu? Like the girl in the when you hit the girl the battle, you didn't think you was going to go home. You're going home, you're going to get expelled, especially the little bit I know about the Holy Ghost fathers and think if them fellas was in charge back in the BC days, then you're going to get expelled. So I'm not sure what they I guess when you're running for political office, I suppose one of the things you have to do is either cleanse your palate before you go in, like, you know, the audacity of hope. You could audacity of hope the thing and tell everybody, boy, I smoke my little weed, I had my little woman and thing back in the days. You know what I mean? Just let everybody know everything about you in this social media area especially. And so that is now something that you soften the blow, you know what I mean? You take the sting out of things that will come up from your past. I mean, I ain't sure how much people like. I don't know. It's hard to see Stuart Young today as a bully of anybody. Maybe I underestimate any fellow, but maybe it's to cleanse what you do. But you had to expect that every single story that could come out would come out. I guess we had to wait for the following days to find out if this story could and will get any kind of traction. It probably will. I mean, and that's why I had to use my snooze button on Facebook, because they're gonna have some people who are gonna carry on this. This is the same group of people who said, they call the election date and we didn't know it was coming, and the general responsibility that coming, right? There are some people who, when the issue come out, I sure you could tell me what some of your colleagues or your Facebook friends comments gonna be like and what the response gonna be like before it happened. But I'm not sure that the flip side of it is any better, because he didn't do the audacity or hope thing, right? He didn't put out anything. But in today's world, I'm not sure that is the best. I'm not sure that is the best approach to just say that never happened, that ain't happened. So because I think that things like that or saying things like that will give this story more life over time. What's going to happen is more and more journalists, bloggers, people going to dig up information. So if you went to school in St. Mary's anytime before Christ, they might be reaching out to you right now to find out where it has happened and see where it is. Like, I saw a news source, right? This Rhoda Barrett say, like I said earlier, there's a whole generation of witnesses. Ria's story was heavily skewed and misleading. News source stories don't have skewed and misleading at times too. However, a story in today's Trinidad Express headline, the battle attack on Teen Stuart changed my mind. And against the firm, well-meaning advice of a close friend, I now feel compelled to share my own recollection of the interaction between the two boys at the time. Somebody else coming out, people coming out. It's hard for me to abide by misinformation, and the claim that Young never had any interaction with the boy before the unprovoked attack is simply quite untrue. I do not intend to make any moral judgment on either party, but I do want to address that excerpt. So, denying that it ever happened or had any kind of interaction, I don't know that is the best PR strategy. I think that PR professionals all over the country maybe contact one of them people and see how to deal with this. PR, one of the issues with PR is that it tends to trend towards a reactive exercise in Trinidad and Tobago, where after something happened, you call PR people to stress them out. Whereas if you know you was going to get steered this thing, which you clearly know over all these years, maybe a PR person ahead of time might be a good decision to put in place. But as I say, I mean, let me go to Kimmery Rodriguez in the Express, because I mean, this is Stuart Young alone. Let me hear what the old Cam saying. Opposition leader Kamla Prasad Biseso has called Prime Minister Stuart Young's calling of an April election date a hurried attempt to avoid UNC legal action against him. So the UNC was on protesting outside, or people were protesting outside the president's house. Let me do libel me, you know. People were protesting outside the president's house, saying that the appointment of Stuart Young was illegal. I salute to my cousin family, Stephen Shepherd. I was asking him on Facebook recently, when Dr. Eric Williams passed away while in office and they had to hand over to Chambers, I was asking him, was there uproar? Did the opposition make a fuss? He was saying no, there was nothing like this. It was completely understood that they had to hand the power to somebody. And that's somebody who would be probably now the shortest tenured prime minister, at least for until April 28th, will be the shortest tenured prime minister ever. That's George Chambers. People, they good waste some down and all. I remember songs like Chambers, Dancy and them kind of thing. Talking about song too. I have some song to play for all you from elections this year, you know. Or election songs to play in this episode. So, all you go remind me about that, right? Because I don't forget the damn election song and them already. I know a young man, you know. So, reading further along, shortly after the office of the Prime Minister yesterday published the April 28 general election date set by Young, Prasad Biseso stated that the announcement was an attempt to avoid facing the courts on what she termed his illegal and unconstitutional appointment to the post. So that was what the protests were about, and the opposition intended, at least by the rhetoric, to take him to court and challenge it as being unconstitutional. Last week, Prasad Biseso warned Young that he would face brilliant UNC lawyers in the country's court should he replace the outgoing Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, following his resignation. The opposition leader also did not attend Young's swearing-in on Monday, telling the Express it was unconstitutional. I will not attend anything to give legitimacy to something that I think is unconstitutional. I do not intend to go to that ceremony, she said. As for a reaction to the election date, Prasad Biseso doubled down on her stance, adding that Young would have had to face an internal election prior to general elections. Did Kamla Prasad Biseso just say the words internal election? Like, I'm confused. Like, me can't see too well though. That's what she said. Young and the PNM is fully well know that his appointment is illegal and unconstitutional. His appointment would have been shown to be unconstitutional in the courts, and he would then be forced to have a PNM into with all due respect, even if there's I don't know if that time for all that, because the end date for the election wasn't sometime in November. At some point they had to call the election. Where was I? His appointment would have been shown to be unconstitutional in the courts, and he would have then been forced to face a PNM internal election before the general election. Penelope Beckles would have decimated him in any internal election, and the Kamala turned pundit now. Penny would have decimated him in any internal election, and the PNM financiers would back a coup, which would have been put down. Okay. She said the party was ready to protect the country. The UNC is ready, and we will do what PNM MPs failed to do, which is protect our country from being gifted to a selfish select group of Young's financiers. That's the KPB response to that. I suppose as a good opposition leader, I don't expect much difference. She's going to impose everything that they do. She's not going to attend nothing that they come with and all these types of things. It's just what it is. It's political season. The silly season is here. I think by the time you hear from me again by next week, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a full slate of UNC candidates. I did see a bunch of resignations coming out of the UNC camp over the last few weeks as I've been observing. And I saw in Woodford Square, surprisingly, the old Larry Lala. The old Larry Lala is he went in a white shirt, right? You go onto the PNM rally to name all the candidates. And my boy going in a white shirt, you know what I mean? I guess white mean neutral, surrender, whatsoever it is. It seems as though more and more people willing to talk since Stuart Young gets in power. I ain't seen nobody cross no floor and them thing, but it seems to be with Rowley out of the way, because I guess the the UNC biggest issue, along with all of us in the country, a lot of us issue was Rowley leadership. So maybe now that Rowley not there are more people willing to talk. But I see Joel D'Souza bust out. Larry Lala, I think, resigned. Several people over the last few weeks have resigned from the UNC. UNC Faizabad official quits. That's when you, if you just look up UNC resignations, you're seeing it. A week ago, 4 more resigned from the UNC. Based on all my observations, right? I have to assume. And from everything that you're reading, where the people who resigning are, in terms of their reasoning. Let me read one quick, right? 4 members of the UNC's Library constituency executive have resigned in their post from the party, and a letter issued to the UNC chairman Devandranath Tanku, General Secretary Peter Kanai, and political leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa, dated March 9. The constituency's welfare officer, party organizer, elections official, and secretary announced their resignations with the immediate effect. The letter stated, "Our decision is not taken lightly. However, the blatant disrespect shown to Alderman Victor Roberts after he raised critical issues in the interest of the party has been made abundantly clear that the UNC no longer values those who genuinely want the party to succeed. Instead, the only requirement for survival within the party is blind loyalty to you, the political leader." Sentiments like those have been raised all around, explicitly and covertly and so on. That is the sentiment you're hearing. That the political leader, people find it's time for the political leader to make a move. It's time to step down. We've heard this before with the last elections that they had, whether it be by-elections or general elections, local government elections. People saying, hey, you're losing a lot. Time to step down and make some space. It doesn't seem to be the case that she's willing to step down. I was eager to see her step down. I was glad to see Rowley step down. I think I would be equally admirable of Kamla if she was to step aside right now and put her youth. I'm not sure exactly who is the youth. People saying Michaela Pandey, but Michaela Pandey, the last time I checked, had her own party and things. She was looking for 41 seat herself. I didn't really hear her since the election date announced, but not much time passed. But I'm waiting to see if she really going to contest 41 seat, because 41 seats is difficult to do, right? It's hard to do. But I was eager to see a fresh face, somebody new. Even if, Stuart Young, fresh face, and he ain't new in politics a while. But give me somebody younger. I rather a young person, and I say this and people be vexed, but I rather somebody like Stuart Young go there and make mistake and do thing and corruption. I rather see that than see people who've been there 30-something, 40 years. I'm not saying that to say that Rowley should ride off into the sunset, and as you pass a certain age, you should go away. It have roles to it, because I would think that any prime minister now, whoever the new prime minister is, could benefit from the guidance of a Keith Rowley with his years' experience, and a Kamla Prasad Bisesa with all her years' experience. They could come together as retirees and help whoever the next person, because I think it's supposed to be about Trinidad and Tobago. I think it's supposed to be about PNM and UNC and them thing once the election done. So let we assume Michaela Pandey and what the party name? Or Kizel Jackson. What's she party name? Or what my boy named Philip Alexander. Let me say Philip Alexander win. Why Rowley and Kamla as 2 retirees can spend a little 2 hours a week coaching Philip on what to do when he go meetings, and and wear a suit when he going to see Trump and all the basic things, all the experience that they have. Again, I am on record as saying, and it's not something that I will change, there's no chance that Kamla Prasad Bisesa ever getting a vote from me after her open comment to tell people, your name is the name of a slave master. It's that I'm a very forgiving person, I'm a reasonable guy and so on, but if you could utter them words, you can't govern me. If anytime you say that, I know how you feel about me, and I don't think that is something She go say that in front of cameras and them kind of thing, but she ain't coming to say that to my face or say that to people. If I have a battle, anyway, you can't tell me things like that and then come and tell me nice things about yourself and the people who is your cohorts and get me to vote for you. And you can't come and tell me things like that and get me and come and tell me bad things about somebody else and tell me I mustn't vote for them. If that is your sentiment, then your rebuttal. And let me say Kamala was bullied. The way Stuart Young was bullying the man. Right? Allegedly, you're going to set me up and I have no money to pay for nothing, right? If it is you want to claim that Kamala Prasad Bisesa was bullied, they said he worse about her. I with you. They said he worse about the woman. All kind of things they say, right? The response to bullying cannot be beat him senseless with a battle. And that's how I feel when a former prime minister of this country come and tell me, go from here with your slave name. No, you cannot get my vote. I'm not saying UNC can't get my vote. But she needs to bounce. When she bounce, I will listen to all what everybody else had to say in UNC. Until then, they can't get my vote. Unfortunately, PNM not in a position to get my vote neither. Neither is me can't remember the rest of them name and me don't know where's the symbol neither. So they might struggle to get my vote and all. This election is just fodder for me to come and talk and make a fool of myself and enjoy this election season. Only forgive me and the computer and I done write down the song and then I can't remember what the hell the song. Right. I have a song here to play. It's election time and we have a song to play. So this is from a man by the name of Mighty Sparrow. Let me see what the hell the song name again. My God. All the songs I play tend to have relevance to the things I talk about, right? And this is by the great Slinger Francisco. And it pretty much sums up. I'm playing this song in dedication to everybody who is a lifetime PNM, a lifetime UNC, a lifetime Prakash Ahmed Adams still around. Once he's a lifetimer, day for you.
I won't be involved in this election. I don't know already, I ain't want fame. Plus I ain't looking for fortune again. All I'm asking is that you pay close attention to the many problems we all face from dawn to dawn. You're intelligent, I think, and you should face issues. But you're behaving like a moron, cussing me for way I born, but you pipe and hand no water. You pay too much for butter. Take your steel beam and go. The terrible school system is such a bloody problem. Take your steel beam and go. Agriculture's in a state, planning is inadequate. Take your steel beam and go. The northern and southern idol, the two kingpins are bubble. We know, we like it so. We like it so. Georgie Porgy tell we the other night. So instead of displaying impatience, cool yourself and give the fella a chance. How the hell you could say ONR go do better? Bet we send you back Grenada in a drum. We and Georgie going to put it right together. We have freeness and freedom, plenty roti, plenty rum. Hospitals have no linen, it's brown paper they're using. Take your steel beam and go. Public transportation is an abomination. Take your steel beam and go. Well, food, clothes and rent is proof. Cost of living gone through the roof. Take your steel beam and go. Classified information for personal gain is common, we know, but we like it so.
Take your oil rig and go. Take your oil rig and go. All right, let me hear what people say. Let me deal with the positive side of this election thing now. Kamala Persad-Bissessar, as reported by K. Marie Rodriguez onto the opposition leader. Kamala said she's ready, and she is ready to beat people. The party has not yet named all of its candidates expected to contest seats alongside those presented within this coalition of interests with other parties. But the UNC has been making arrangements for the poll since last year. Persad-Bissessar said in a statement yesterday, UNC is ready and we are on the road to victory. This has come as no surprise. She said in response to Young's calling of the election dates on his second day in office. We've been calling for the elections and preparing for the poll. There's kind of more along the lines of what I expected to see, because to me, we've been calling elections for a long time. I think they was waiting for this. You know what time to tell a man call election? She said, we've been calling for the elections and have been preparing for the polls. Media houses have known that since last year. We have all had our election arrangements pre-booked and prepaid since last November. Okay. The UNC is ready and will do what the PNM MPs failed to do, which is protect our country from being gifted to a selfish group of Young's financiers. The people have the power to effect change and finally put the end to the PNM's decade of destruction. The UNC's coalition interests will win. Oh, wait. I kind of bypassed that last thing. The UNC's coalition of interests will win. Heavy statement. So the UNC has been a little more open to the PNM in terms of coalition government. I don't find coalition government to be a bad idea. I think more parties need to be open to the idea of coalition, right? Because I think the more ideas we have and the more checks and balances we have within the parties that we have. That's why I agree with her in that internal elections are an important thing. You can't play and toy around with internal elections, because when you gerrymander them thing, when you jerry-rig them thing, you end up in a position where your governance structure will suffer from it. You have a thorough and well-managed internal election system, as far as I'm concerned. If we have at least two parties with that, we're onto something. So I believe that things like coalition governments where different parties come together, the truth is that they go fall out eventually. And you know, in business management, I used to learn about a thing back in the day called conflict teams, right? They used to use it for things like innovation. Like if you had to come up with new products and stuff, they deliberately put together people who are not like-minded, people who might be from different racial or ethnic backgrounds, different age groups, different areas of disciplines of study and so on. So you might be an engineer with a marketing person or a finance person with somebody from HR, just to get a healthy amount of conflict between the two people so that you end up with the best ideas, because nobody don't let substandard ideas from the other person go through. So it's a sort of a check and balance. So from that standpoint, I don't mind the idea of a coalition government. I did see recently in parts of Rowlers exits, you know what I mean? He opened a hospital, so he opened some down, so, and he went and he opened the A&R Robinson terminal in the A&R Robinson airport, right? Brand new airport over there, and them thing terminal building looking nice, right? I think the building finished, or is one floor in the building finished like the hospital? Maybe the building finished, right? But when he was there, he take the opportunity to take a swing at Farley and Watson and them, right? He says Sandals coming back. He get them back to the table as one of the last things that he do. And he say, you Farley, sit down with Adam Stewart, and you Watson, you know? Yeah, I guess as a politician, he always in politics mode. I see the lady next to Farley's head just drops. She ain't like that. None of the people around Farley clap. And you know the thing about it is, when he say you Farley, Watson was just among the clap and celebrate, and then he say you Watson. But saying all that to say, it's not looking like if Tobago is the most settled place right now. I don't know if you're watching that and observing that. Salute to Marlon Mills. I'm usually my Tobago correspondent. Should I call his name? I'm usually Tobago correspondent to tell me what happened. I ain't get to talk to him yet, but it does seem as though Tobago is a foregone conclusion in terms of a Tobagonian party winning that. I felt like when I see Watson and Farley and them fellas win last night, I said, well, boy, Tobago will never go back to a Trinidadian-based or run party again. If that is the case, then there's no choice but to do more of a collaborative approach to governance. And to me, more collaborative than what Rowlers and them would have pulled off over the time. Rowlers and Farley clearly didn't have the best relationship, if any relationship at all. And it's on both sides. You telling somebody, talk to Stuart on them, whoever Adam Stuart, that's I guess the son of Butch Stuart, who was running Sandals, and I believe he had Jamaica as well. Why you don't make sure you tell Stuart and Farley to talk? Because if it's Trinidad and Tobago, you had to have a cordial relationship between the person who's at the head of the THA and the person who's at the head of Trinidad and Tobago, regardless of which party both of them come from. It can't be that because you're not from the party that we from, you go thing. And boy, listen, I dislike politics in this country for them kind of reasons, because they show us over and over that is party first. And maybe it's party first, then individuals in the party and the friends of the party second, then the population by just sheer coincidence. Anything that we do for the party and we do for the people in the party, if there's some, in economics it's called externality. When you build a project, you put a dam, and one of the externalities is the fact that you catch a lot of salmon. That wasn't the point of the dam, but it's one of the things that you get. I think any help we get as a country, like hospital and new terminal, is externalities of corruption. I could coin that. If I coin that, well, I go talk about more like Lloyd Best, like always talk about Lloyd Best when I'm dead and gone on. Just tell them Corey Shepard come up with this concept, right? Somebody do the research, I will give you credit. Externalities of corruption is what we usually get at the end of the day. We don't really get no project that is really to benefit the country as a whole. So when she said, as part of her statement here, UNC and collaborators, or UNC any coalition, or UNC's coalition of interests, it brings to mind surely the folks in Tobago, Farley. I was never be able to remember Farley party name. I think Watson party name is PDP or Kizelle Jackson. Get out and go. Kizelle says she taken 41C2, but stability now. I don't. Should look stable. Philip. Rough around the edges, right? I'm not sure. Although he have a good following and people believe in him, but who else? Michaela says she going 41. Gary Griffith is an interesting one, right? And I just want to take a moment. All the kicks I get about the politics and them things, right? Gary Griffith is a polarizing character, right? If to put it mildly, he's when he talk, he go make news. You know, he's one of them fellas who he'll probably always stay in the news. And I know that he had I believe his NTA, his political party, and he was going gung ho for several seats. And I remember seeing him do screening and stuff. But boy, life is a hell of a thing sometimes. And maybe within a year, we saw some sad news coming from his family when Nicole Dyer Griffith was diagnosed with cancer. And you know, I spoke about her here, and she in our prayers as listeners and as a family in this podcast. We keep her in our prayers. And it was so sad that last week I saw her. The caption said, "Storms don't last forever, but the good strength you gain from them does." And, you know, I was so happy for her when I saw she was recovering and, you know, going through a thing. And then she said she wasn't feeling well and getting some pain. She went back to the doctor and she had a tumor that had to be removed. I want to thank her and commend her if that's appropriate, for her bravery, not just for her family and loved ones that will be going through that with her, but to get up and, you know, put on a little makeup and turn on that camera and come and talk to us who, you know, the fans, friends, well-wishers, party supporters, all them people, real insignificant when you think about what it would be to get a diagnosis like that. And to know you have to go and do surgery, a brain surgery, that must be a nerve. It won't frighten you if you hear you have a tumor in your brain and you have to go and do surgery for that. A real frightening thing for you and your family, the people who are closest to you, all your loved ones. So I always appreciative and grateful that she would turn on her camera and spend a little time talking to the insignificant people like myself, just fans, well-wishers, people who are not there for you, you know? Or who there for you in a different way, who not home with you, I should say. And we pray for her, we wish her all the best. I saw that by the time I recorded this, she came out. The next caption I saw was home, and pictures with her husband and her son. Home, thanking God for his mercies and grace. When I tell you, Trinidad and Tobago has the best of the best right here on these shows. Many thanks to the incredible Dr. Robert Ramcharan, the neurosurgeon who made this journey as smooth as can be, ably assisted by anesthesiologist Dr. Miraj and his entire team. Many thanks to my day one still at my side, Dr. Capildeo, Dr. Bovel, Dr. Olivier, Dr. Nimra, Dr. Pura, and the incredible staff at West Shore Medical. Thank you all for your patience, real love, and support. And of course, my family, blood and bond. I smile because of you. Long walk ahead, however, I'm up for it. By the way, all these incredible people operate both in public and private sectors, as I have used both during this period. So moving, and I'm so happy that the surgery seemed to have been successful. As she says here, I know the journey isn't over, but it's nice to see. So I wonder, with something like this happening in your household, how focused Gary Griffith could really be around an election. I think it would be insignificant to any one of us. You sit down with your wife going through something like this, or a loved one, or your mother. The last thing you want to do is, number one, the amount of work you had to put in and time you had to put in, and keep in mind that she was also a big part of the party as well. I don't know if you have that time, or let me talk for myself, right? I don't know if I would want to be doing that and spend that time away from my family at a time like this. And to be quite honest, I don't know if I would have the interest in it at all, to go and listen to people saying this and that about me. I also go be a little on edge. So if I go out there and I'm doing the campaigning while I'm going through something like this home, and Philip said the wrong thing, or not Rolly again, but Stuart Young said the wrong thing to me, it's battle, boop, bap, bap. I'm going straight back to Imran and asking Imran back for that same battle, and I'm tripping clean off because I'm on edge. A lot going on in my household. So we wish Gary Griffith and Nicole Dyer Griffith in particular, and Gary Griffith and the family the best wishes, and I hope that they take this time off. I admire people who put themselves up for public service, regardless of what I might say about them when they win and their ways and all these kind of things. But I can't do it. I don't know if I could do it. All the talk I talk here. Somebody was telling me, salute Joel Julian. I see he posted the other day that Patrick Manning was 45 years old when he was the Prime Minister in Trinidad and Tobago. I want to put it to you that I am 45 years old now. And if it's anything that this podcast has proven, I am not ready for that kind of leadership. I ain't gonna make it. I ain't gonna survive it. It ain't gonna work. You can imagine having a prime minister as immature as me. So I admire people who go up for public service, but the health and strength and well-being of your family must come first. So I wish Gary Griffith and they all the best. Let me talk about another third force now. Deputy political leader of the Honesty, Opportunity, Performance and Empowerment Party. Well, the H in honesty, that's silent. Not so this that'd be Hope. The Hope Party has resigned from. What the hell is this? I know going to talk about you resign. Deputy political leader of the Honesty, Hope, Opportunity. I don't know what the hell to read this now. Honesty, Opportunity, Performance and Empowerment Hope Party has resigned following a contentious joint meeting with the Community Reform Network (CRM) or NGO. And the National Transformation. Gary, you meet with people. Last Wednesday, the three groups meet, but Karen Nunes Teixeira abruptly left, visibly upset. She later confirmed that she's been scheduled to speak on the state of the economy, but declined to elaborate on what led to her departure. When contacted, Hope political leader Timothy Hamilsmith revealed that Nunes Teixeira was displeased that her party's flags were not hoisted before those of the NTA. He explained that the person responsible for setting up the flags arrived at 6:15 alongside Hope Chairman Stephen Alvarez. All flags were put. Listen, it's flag these people talking about being in the election, the place running out of oil. It had nothing to do in the country. You know what I mean? The youths looking for opportunity and hope. Your party name Hope, and youths looking for hope. And only talking about who flag. Well, listen, I don't know. I just be confused by some of these things sometimes. You see me? I is not to read no article and something, I is to come here and play Kaiso and enjoy myself. I can't deal.
This is an SOS from the Trinidad. Location, 7 miles off the coast of Venezuela. SOS, SOS, Mayday, Mayday, Mayday. The Trinidad, a luxury liner, sailing the Caribbean Sea, with an old captain named Eric Williams. For the air sails smooth and free. are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow? We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. Whoa, whoa.
A man say when he hear Chambers, he blood crawling.
The Trinidad, oh, she was a beauty, with wealth that few surpassed. And in her day, she sailed majestically. There were few in her class. Faithfully she fulfilled her sailor's need. Some were overpowered by greed, and so they pilfered slow. Some took by bulk and go. Now she looked dull, she's at a lull. She could barely sit on her hull. Captain, the ship is sinking. Captain, the seas are rough. Oh yes, we gas tank almost empty, no electricity. We oil pressure reading low. Shall we abandon ship, or shall we stay on it and perish slow?
We don't know, we don't know. Captain, you tell me what to do. You know, I like the man said the gas tank almost empty, no electricity, oil pressure reading low. So we sit and we wait. We sit and we wait. We don't know what it's looking like. We know what the election season bring. I will be here for election coverage. Thanks for all the feedback to everybody with the episodes that came before as well, because I am living my dream when I get to sit down and talk to people who in and around the culture. And of course, my sit downs are not limited to people who in Kaiso, Soca and the arts and so on. I have a few people who coming from a business standpoint as well. So one of my goals right now, just to share with you, is to build the catalog of people who come through us. I kept saying from the beginning of this podcast, sitting down and talking to people is something that I will always do. And it's to find the cadence and mixing, because I know this is important too. We had to talk about the things that happen and follow up on the weekly culture and bacchanal. And we must laugh and get some kicks in the mix, right? But documenting some of these stories, so thanks to people like Zan, Turner, Franco, a lot of different people who come through Jungi, one of the most funniest things I do in a long time, and many of the others who've committed to come and been coming through. I appreciate them coming through. And I should be back to getting a weekly episode where we can, especially when it's election time, it always has something to talk about when I come here. So we should be back to that. But my heart lies in the culture, you know that. So I had a carnival wrap up with Franca that is out now. You should take that in. That is episode 219. But I guess for me, carnival always is a special time. And as I say in Franca episode next year, I'm going to try to see if I could get through the whole of carnival without paying a cent. I cannot commit to that where my wife is concerned, right? I could only commit to that for myself, right? She done planning to go the most expensive set of thing for the year next year, but I trying to see how I could get through it. And again, just following the vein of what's about Frankie, that's something somebody was asking me the other day, right? They was asking me about if I had done an episode recently where, well, I think that was with Frank herself, where I was talking about the structure of Pardy and why is a hell of a road mart song, a forever song, as I like to talk about forever music. And a big part of it is that same thing we talk about with the chord structure and all that, right? So when you look at the way the song designed, I am not trying to say that the songs copy another song. Same thing with Freetown Collective and David Rudder, High Mass. It's not that Home Take Me Home is a copy of High Mass. It's just reminiscent of it. So the point I'm trying to make is that music, while it might be infinite in the amount of combinations you could get from maybe 12 notes or so, there's a finite amount of things that you could do with music, and it's an even more finite and smaller amount of things you could do with very, very popular world music. So when I saw Marshall Pardy going viral in St. Patrick's Day in Ireland, people having a time and singing Pardy and them kind of thing. Well, you know, now that I'm saying it's St. Patrick, I assume I was in Ireland, but I forget St. Patrick's Day is a thing right in TGI Fridays. I don't know where it was, but you see some St. Patrick's people, we call them Irish, singing Pardy. And again, the point I'm trying to make is, why is popular music and a lot of popular music, a lot of your favorite songs, they built around a similar chord structure. Let me show you exactly what I'm talking about here. Right? So if you're taking the chords are playing here is G, then E minor, then C, then D. It's some of the foundation chords for most of the popular music. Like if I was to tell you, wise men say only fools rush in, but I can't help falling in love with you. I'll sing. Oh, my love, my darling, I hunger for your touch. A long, lonely time. Or say, we work so hard all week, we deserve a party. Tell everybody we deserve a party. I could say this too, I could say Biggie, now's the day, Biggie, now's the day that you went away. When you went away, every bar you break, every time you take, I'll be missing you. Or the original might go like this. When I say, every step you take and every move you make, every bond you break, every heart you break, I'll be watching you. And then a man take that locally and say, in a double-deck party is upstairs, you're finding we, upstairs, you're finding we, in high heels, mama, and gym boots on the ground, bambade, on the ground, and they're singing something. Footsteps, stamping harder, footsteps, stamping harder, footsteps, back together, footsteps, back apart, footsteps, footsteps, stamping on the ground, bambade, on the ground. Let's have our next one, sing. See the sunset in your eyes, see the thorn twist in your side. I'll wait for you. Sleight of hand and twist of fate, on the head of Nancy Wade. I'll wait for you. With or without you, with or without you, oh, I can't live with or without you. Only remember that when Marshall say, I gotta whine on me, I'll whine you back, and if you don't know how to whine, I'll cut you slack. Anyway, back to what we were supposed to be singing that of this year, right? They say, we work so hard every week, we deserve a party. Tell everybody we deserve a party. We work so hard all day, we don't want to worry that I need a stress reliever. With a drink in my hand and my wife in the middle. I don't want no other girl in the middle, just in case you're listening in the middle. Only gonna get me in trouble, for the sake of all your entertainment. I doesn't know sometimes if people laughing with me or they're laughing at me. But you could see now why that song will be playing. I see a thing going viral where the song playing in Ireland for St. Patrick's Day and thing, because it at the spine of the song is popular music and pop culture. And while I keep saying that it's not, it might be my favorite Marshall song of all time. And most people, the sentiment seems to generally be the same. That is not Marshall's greatest song ever. They chord sheet and lyrics thing, right? You know what I mean? I'm not a young man. But at least you know now. At least you know now. You could do the reference. And I want to say this too. Like people, the more I do these things, like I was comparing the voice where you do over Kitchener song or you know, David Rudder's song High Mass with Freetown Collective earlier. It's not to say that people seem to think that they're copying these songs or they're just taking these songs. That's not the case. Music, while the combination of chords you could play unlimited. Plenty of these songs we hear, like when you hear a song for the first time and you find like you like it off the bat, tell yourself the chord structure real similar to a song that you would have heard before. In other news, listen, before I go out, I always had to talk about some sports things. All you know me well enough to know that once Trinidad and Tobago playing, I am there. I believe they have a game next week is a sort of a warm-up game or some kind of... I guess, well, Dwight York still getting his legs, right? When it's almost captain, the ship is sinking. That ship was a little bit sinky. It was a little sinky for the longest time. But it seems as though we're finding some kind of... We're finding some kind of footing, hopefully, with Trinidad and Tobago football. Because the last thing I see from them is that we went Jamaica and they play some indoors games. Dwight York like a little indoor game, boy. Look, when I say indoor, it's closed doors. They're not allowing anybody to see the game. Shit, man, playing. But at least we having some games coming up. And on the 21st of March, what today is, we will be seeing them play against Cuba in Santiago. I don't know if you should play against Cuba right now. I'm not sure, Dwight, you're paying attention to what Donald Trump is saying. But Rowley, and what the man named Ralph Gonzalez, who meet Young Brother the other day and acting like a goofy a little bit on meet Cartel. Ralph Gonzalez seems to be more in charge of artists than in charge of the country. And me and Motley, all of them say, give back the visa. And I want all to speak for yourself, number one, right? And next time I record, I'll get a little idea about what Trump... I had to make some time to talk about Trump and this whole tariff situation, right? I'm pretty convinced that he not sure... It does seem as though he clear on exactly how a tariff works and how it should work. And them have a bacchanal brewing between them and their neighbors and them and China that I want to talk about. But he did come out and say... we slave labor in the Cuban doctors and all these kind of things, and he don't want to have no deals with me. And now Dwight York going to schedule a game at Cuba. Why is he doing this? But 21st we play in Cuba. I believe on the 25th we also play in them at Atto Bolden Stadium. I think Dwight York need to study a little international relations. But I will be there on the 25th to take that in. I see they still need volunteers, so I think they're looking for a striker. So I'm trying to stay trim just in case I go down there and I'm a volunteer and telephone them can score. I might get a call up for the first time. It's overdue if you want to be honest. But more importantly, we have World Cup qualifiers coming up. 5th of June with against Grenada. That seemed to be in Trinidad. The 8th of June against Bahamas, looking like it's over there. The 6th of June, 2020. What are you doing with the old thing? The 6th of June, 2025. The one with Grenada and the one with Bahamas gone apparently. Friday, the 6th of June, we're going against St. Kitts and Nevis, and then we have Costa Rica on the 10th of June. Important games. I can't remember where we was in the standing, but I do remember it in the words of Gypsy with a sinking ship and not looking very good. So I'm hoping that by the time he gets these warm-up matches under his belt, and with his pedigree, and I think he right there alongside, he should be right there alongside Dwight York, Russell Latapy in terms of, their accomplishments in the career, but also the respect that the team will have for them as a whole. And I see in that defense force doing better and better. And you tend to find that when defense force, or when you have a local league where the team's doing good, your national team have a better chance. So we sending all powers, hopes, prayers, wherever you believe in universe, good energy and vibration to the Soca Warriors as they journey forward. I'll even all over this one, a political one too, and one of my favorite ones, you know it?
Yeah! Revelation!
One of the songs that best sum up the political season for me. Look at that silly season.
He promised the fire next time. He promised the fire next time. And who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Who ain't dead, the badly wounded? Who ain't dead, badly wounded? Talk, you mocking pretender. I check your lyrics on a confess you. Far too long, you're fooling the children. Filling the head with brainwash education. Doomsday reach, wipe and the repeat. Cause the children coming to take back the beat. The power of the word in the conscious styling. Giving the way for a brand new morning. I say the power of the word in the rap so styling. Rocking the roots of the vampire system. Talk it talk, you mocking pretender. Talk it talk, you bloody deceiver. Talk it talk, you serpent master. Talk it talk, you friggin' oppressor.
One thing we sure about over the next few weeks, right, about 4 or 5 weeks, we have real talk to hear, you know what I mean? But I hear for it, so we go be listening, we go be keeping them in check. You know, in this horse race, just like when the World Cup race, it has some big side. It's a too big side in this horse race. No matter what they want to tell me, it's a too big side. So we have to monitor everything they're doing. And like Tree Canal, this do for we for the carnival season, they just keep we honest and we just keep we committed to the culture. We have to stay on top of these fellas, you know.
Next time. And who is dead, the badly wounded? Who is dead, badly wounded? Who
We have to come here and continue to listen
is dead?
to make sure if it's anybody who need to get some butu and some battle, we have to have battle to get them.
Fooling the children, filling the head with much education. Doomsday reach,
Yeah.
plan your retreat.
Yeah.
The children coming to
Yeah.
take back the street.
Yeah.
Power the wood in the
Yeah.
Rapture style.
Yeah.
I say the power the wood in the Rapture style.
I will see you all next week.
Talk it talk. Talk it talk.
You're freaking